Okay, so you guys know how being petty is like my spiritual gift, right?
Welcome to a new segment I'm calling That's Not Biblical.
Thank you for your contribution, man. Now,
Why am I like nervous to put us on here right now? Like I haven't clicked it because we're in costume. So hold on, we have to be ready. Everyone that's watching this, you ready to see us?
hello.
Oh, hi everybody. Oh, look, Abby's leaning into it. She's like,
Oh, Abby, you're muted.
You're muted.
It's okay. I was just making comments about touching hair.
Hello, everyone. I'm smiling too much. I have to look annoyed the whole time.
You have to look a little
really hard for me.
constipated.
I know. Somebody said to me last time, I told them, they're like, oh, they gave you the mean one? I'm like, yeah. I mean, I would have picked her anyway, but it comes.
Surprise.
It would be really, really hard for April. I think.
You know
I
what?
don't think Dorothy's mean. I think she's just very honest, and I feel like
She's
that's
direct.
kind of fitting for you, honestly.
I think she's mean, and I like it. Sophia's mean too, though.
Sophia is the meanest.
She is. And I kind of wanted to be her. If it didn't work out, obviously there's only 3 of us, and she's like, the mom, and then they're the friends. Which, oh, by the way, if you're watching or if you're listening to this, not watching it, we're the Golden Girls.
Excuse me while I adjust my shoulder pads.
I know we were all talking about feeling
shoulder
like
pads.
linebackers. I'm like,
Go tackle
Dorothy
someone.
What's this like crinkly material? Like
Chiffon.
But it's like chiffon, but
It's like
different.
so much flowy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I'm like, she wore lots of like necklaces. You guys, all of this is my mom's. Look at these super 80s earrings.
It's pretty great.
I know. I just shopped at my mom's house, except for this wig that itches. So we'll see how the next hour of my life
I'm gonna
goes.
be honest with you. I don't know how long these shoulder pads are gonna last. Honestly, like you're making me nuts.
Also, it was like my mother keeps everything apparently. So she gave me, again, if you're listening to this, you miss out on so much, this incredible unopened eyeshadow palette from like the 80s. And so I have
amazing.
the green or the blue, and then I actually put like the palest pink on my lips. Thank you for Nicole. Also, that's what I failed at. Abby just showed us a Golden Girls cup. I was gonna have all my Golden Girls everything here because I have such an obnoxious amount of things. Tequila. April, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking a little. I'm gonna call it rose wine. It's rosé.
Wait.
You know what? That would have been a great. We should have done Schitt's Creek, and you could have been Moira, and then you could have been like, "It's fruit wine." Rachel doesn't like Schitt's Creek. Never mind.
Why are you telling everybody all my secrets?
Rachel doesn't like Schitt's Creek because she has no soul.
I mean, I have no soul, but that's not why I don't like Schitt's Creek. Hi, Andrew. Thanks. Thank you.
One of these years, we'll pick
April's brother.
That could be flattering.
Well, one of the things that I suggested was Mean Girls. Like we could have all been one of the plastics, and yet we chose the Golden Girls, the plastics of the 80s.
They were the plastics of the 80s.
They really were. Rose was Karen. Or was Rose kind of Blanche as well?
No, Rose.
Or Karen was kind of Blanche as well.
No, I would say Rose would be Karen, just because they're so like ditzy and nice. And
so then would Gretchen Wieners be Blanche? Because I really feel like Regina George would be Dorothy.
Regina would definitely be Dorothy. Yeah. But was Gretchen slutty enough? Was she slutty enough? Blanche?
I mean, she
didn't the actress who played Gretchen, she was in a movie called Christian Mingle.
Yes, that is true. Oh, you don't know that?
Party of Five girl was in a movie called Christian Mingle.
Hey, speaking of subpar movies that girls from the Mean Girls are in, have you guys seen the trailer for the Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie coming to Netflix this holiday season? Because I am more excited about it than I would like to admit.
I've not even heard of this. So
you guys, it's wow. The millennial heart is thrilled.
For a Lindsay Lohan movie?
I just really root for her.
I know. I'm glad that she's kind of come through her
very weird phase.
Very weird phase. And yeah.
20-year phase, probably.
I feel like her and Amanda Bynes kind of fell off the deep end at the same time, but Lindsay Lohan seems to have come up for air.
My favorite thing, though, is when Lindsay Lohan started speaking as though she had a Middle Eastern accent.
Oh.
And she was like, I've just lived in Dubai for so long. And it had been like 6 months.
Oh my gosh. That's
Interesting.
weird.
This has nothing to do with anything, but we're talking about like people from back then. And I don't know why I looked this up. Oh, because we were watching 10 Things I Hate About You. But I was like, I wonder what ever happened to Andrew Keegan. And I looked him up and
he's a cult leader.
He's a cult leader. I'm like, what the fuck?
Who has multiple times been arrested for selling kombucha that is not regulated.
Who is Andrew Keegan?
Oh, you precious darling.
And who is that
little Christian girl?
Keegan? Who is that?
He was a heartthrob.
April, you're joking, right?
No, who is that?
In 10 Things I Hate About You.
Andrew Keegan?
Did you watch what, Seventh Heaven?
Yes. Oh, I recognize him. I would have never known his name.
Wilson? Oh my gosh, I had such a crush on him. Yeah, he was a freaking cult leader.
Yeah, like a full-on cult leader.
Wow.
We were talking about it. My friend was like, I think he's like all like a Christian pastor or something now.
No.
I'm like, no.
I mean, to be fair, they're not that different.
No, they're not. But this is
no. He has like a parrot that he considers his sidekick. And it's like a cockatiel or something. And they legitimately brew unregulated kombucha that they use, which is kombucha has alcohol in it. So it ends up, if you brew it strongly enough, you're basically making me.
I'm just kidding. I know.
Oh my God. I was literally about to be like, I don't know.
You're really leaning into the Rose character. I think she's just really leaning into it.
Well, it's nice because I can just be me.
Olaf, we didn't make kombucha.
Is this where we also tell everybody that April isn't even a Golden Girls fan?
It's not that I'm not a Golden Girls. Well, I guess I'm not a fan, but I don't dislike them. I just haven't seen much of it.
Well,
did you watch any in preparation for your character?
No.
But where's Rose from?
I just said it.
Maryland.
Oh. No, that was a hint for April. I was trying to be like, I just said it.
St. Olaf, Minnesota. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
You know, for being like the jokes about being from Minnesota, she didn't really have the Minnesota accent.
No.
She would say, don't you know, like that. Don't you know?
Yeah. Like Bobby's mom.
I always just think of Sarah Palin from Minnesota.
Oh, she's
governor of Alaska.
You know,
when I'm real upset.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I'm from Wisconsin, so we have like neighbor accents. And when I'm real upset, it comes out and I can't prevent it. And it makes me even more upset when it happens.
Have you ever noticed that like for most of like, I mean, I think people try to be better about it now, but for like most of the history in film and television, mainly television, they cared nothing about giving people accurate accents for where they live.
Oh no.
Like Friends. Rachel Green grew up on Long Island. Did she? Like she didn't have one itty bitty ounce of any kind of New York accent. They just don't care about accents.
No, but you know what I learned? I used to want to be a nanny when I was in high school, and you get paid more as a nanny and as an actor if you don't have an accent.
Interestingly enough, when I lived in Texas, I was born and raised in Tejas, and I had a country accent.
You did?
I sure did. And when I moved to Florida my freshman year of high school, and everyone at my school was like, "Are you from Texas?" I was like,
Does it ever slip? Does it ever slip back out?
Yes. So I wanted to go into journalism, and I was like, there are zero journalists that have Southern accents.
Right.
So I actively, like, I liked being from Texas, but I didn't want people to know about, like, I didn't want them to know I was from Texas based on how I talked. So I worked at it for my entire high school to get rid of my accent, and I got rid of it. But if I get like really upset or angry or whatever, and I think since living in like super conservative small town Tennessee,
yeah,
it's rubbed back off on me. My kids have country accents, and that kills me. on the
I
inside.
think it's precious.
I think they're
It
cute.
is, but it's so country. I'm just like,
Meh.
I feel like I have the absence of an accent.
No.
Like, okay. I feel like I do. I feel like this part of the country has like no accent at all. Like we don't. What do I have? How do I sound?
It's like a
Wisconsin?
Sound like
very
Drew Barrymore.
it's a
It's true.
very weird combination of Southern and Midwestern. So it like in the Midwest, you know, in the Northern Midwest, we do a lot of the
Yeah.
I have an appointment.
Mm, mhm.
You have an appointment.
I'm gonna go park my car. It feels like your
Mhm.
lips are kind of tied together and they're pulled up at the corner. And then in the South, it's this weird, you hear real Southern sounding tones, especially where you're from, even in Cincinnati, when people talk about their grandparents, because everybody doesn't have grandmas and grandpas. What do they have, Rachel?
Well, I had Mama and Papa.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mama
Mama
and Papa.
Mama and Papa.
I love
Yeah,
my
there you
mama
go.
and Papa. They love to bring me cornbread and milk.
All of my people are from Kentucky on both sides of my family, Appalachia, all that kind of stuff. But I live in Ohio and I don't have an accent.
You literally just did, but okay.
And I don't have an accent.
I live in
Guys,
Ohio.
I do not have an accent. Stop saying that. I do.
Also, I love that you did, like you specified the northern Midwest, because in reality,
Yes.
you guys are barely Midwest if you
Oh,
actually
for
look at a
sure.
map. I'm definitely not Midwest. Like people are like, oh, the
No,
Midwest.
nobody in the Midwest is
Ohio?
actually Midwest.
I'm 2 states away from the Atlantic Ocean. Like I'm not.
Here's the real
Midwest.
test for the Midwest accent.
Yes.
You know when you take dough and you make it into a circle and then you put cream cheese on it? What do you
What?
call that baked good?
When you take dough.
Are you serious? If I say it, you're going to hear how I say it, and it's
I
not
know.
going
So
to
I
work.
don't want. And you put it into a circle.
Never mind.
And
Never
then
mind.
You talking
Never
about
mind.
Cinnabon?
No,
Listen,
but okay, Cinnabon.
you talking about Cinnabon?
No, I'm talking about
If you say bagel, I'm kicking you off of this live right now. Do you say bagel?
No, but I spent most of because I wanted to be a nanny. I spent most of my high school like unlearning my northern Wisconsin accent, and so I
Bagel.
don't. I say bagel.
Bagel.
Oh.
But everyone where I come from, you know what they say? Bagel.
Bagel. Yeah, bagel's weird.
That's
Can you put
No,
my
say
bagel
all
in
of
the
the
bag?
people in the comments that are like, Rachel, you're a fucking moron.
I
It's
know.
bagel. I'm like, what? You put cream cheese on it?
Bagel.
Cinnamon bun? I don't eat cream cheese on bagels, so I was just like, I don't know.
The weirdest conversation.
And
we've
not
made.
at
Okay.
all what we're supposed to be
Hey,
talking.
you know what? It's our Halloween show.
Segue.
Segue. Okay, I am going to play us a lovely video
Thank you
that
for
will
being
jump us
fair.
off. So there was
Okay.
this woman who went viral on Facebook
Ugh.
for warning her fellow moms out there to not watch Hocus Pocus 2.
Hocus Pocus 2.
Because them Hocus Pocus demons would come through the pixels of your television
It's weird
screen.
how this sounds like Greg Locke right now. Like you're Greg
thing
Locke.
is, I've not seen this real video. I've just seen the parody.
Yeah.
Okay. So the there's a Facebook post. Facebook post went viral. I think she deleted it since it got so much attention because
God love
people
her.
were roasting her. But the local news were like, "This is newsworthy," and interviewed this woman. And so this is what we're gonna watch. So
All right.
let me share my screen. Oh wait, it says I'm currently sharing. Oh, here it is. Add to stream. All right, are you ready to watch this? Can you tell me if you can hear it?
A local mom is causing some controversy on social media after coming out against Disney's popular new Halloween movie, Hocus Pocus 2.
News 10's Rissa Shaw sat down with the mother who got emotional over her concerns for other families.
April, you can't mute your mic.
And in your home. Jake.
I'll redo that. I didn't know it was coming through my mic.
I'm like, no.
Here, we'll restart. Here we go.
Disney's popular new Halloween movie, Hocus Pocus 2.
News 10's Rissa Shaw sat down with the mother who got emotional over her concerns for other families and the media they're consuming. A worst case scenario is that you unleash hell on your kids and in your home.
Jamie Gooch is a mother of 3 and the owner of Gooch Family Farms in Troy.
I love everything to do with house and home. I believe everything starts here.
This time of year, fall harvest is heavily celebrated in their household, but Halloween is not.
It grieves me, the thought of exposing our kids to darkness.
Gooch says there's a spiritual war being waged against homes in America, and Hollywood is part of the problem. And right now, one film in particular.
The whole movie is based on witches harvesting children for blood sacrifices.
In a recent Facebook post,
I was a little bit scared when I hit post because I was afraid of the reaction that I would get.
Gooch advises moms against letting their kids watch Hocus Pocus 2.
I believe whatever comes in our TV screens, there are things attached to that. I've seen for myself the things that I've watched with my eyes or heard over a TV screen. They become manifested in real life. Everybody thinks it's fake and innocent, but they could be casting any type of spell that they want to. Anything could be coming through that TV screen into your home.
We have to steal their souls. She says most of the feedback has been positive, but she knows her opinion isn't for everyone, and that's okay. She says it's healthy to stir up conversations, just not cauldrons.
How do you feel? How do you respond to people who are going to say, you're crazy? It's just a movie. It's all in good fun.
It has been and always has been. Then the post was not for you. The post was for people that have been on the fence on the decisions they need to make for their family.
While Gooch's opinion may not be the most fun, she says if putting it out there changes even one person's mind, it was worth it.
I think at the end of the day, I want people to walk away with discernment. If you're watching this, just start thinking. Start thinking for yourself and even overthink and consider all the options of what you're partaking in.
In Troy versus Shaw, News 10.
She seems nice.
She seems like a lot of fun.
What annoys me, we can go through the whole thing, but just even that last little bit of like, like think for yourself, even if you don't, like the assumption that people don't think unless they agree with you. Like I always saw that even in politics where it'd be like, the minute you push back on something that you've been taught your whole life by everybody, they're like, you need to think for yourself. Like, that's what I wasn't doing for like
I know.
the last 30 years of my life. Oh my gosh. No, she's a blast.
She said not just to think, to overthink.
Oh yeah.
If overthinking is what it takes to save your kids from those hocus pocus demons.
Things are attached to what you watch, like demons.
Apparently. Here's my thing.
Tell us your thing.
Yeah. There
Tell
are
us, Rose.
so many horror movies out right now in the world that are 100,000 times worse than Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Why was that the one? I guess because it's a family movie.
Yeah,
and
probably.
Have you watched it?
No, don't
Yes.
tell me anything. Don't tell
I
me.
Okay.
watched it and it was so much. This won't be a spoiler or anything, but it was so much lighter and not as dark as the first one. Even it was much more like campy and fun.
It was super campy, but the one big difference between the first one and the second one, because she's just the loudest Christian to be talking about it. This is not a spoiler. But the one big difference is that the girl, the main character, is a witch. Not like in a real way. She's like, we're going to do a birthday ritual with this candle and this special crystal. And like, that's the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Mhm.
So it isn't just about, ooh, kooky witches from the past who are returning. It's also like the occult.
Right.
Like I find that Christians, there are Christians who get freaked out by like kooky magic, like Harry Potter. And then there are the Christians that are like, that's the occult. And they pop up every like 5 years for this, brand new satanic panic. I mean, there were parents who wouldn't let me when I would like babysit their kids. They wouldn't let me put on Teletubbies for their kids because they were like, that's how the devil gets them through their.
Did you hear that the purple one was gay?
You can thank my chancellor for that one. You can, Dr.
purple
Follow. Dr. Follow is the one that
Yes.
said that Tinky Winky was gay. Very
And the Care Bears were purveyors of New Age ideology.
yes,
And
yeah.
it will take your kids down the dark path of spirituality that has been bastardized.
I
Like-
heard
I remember-
that you shouldn't watch Happy Feet because it would make you believe in climate change.
Shut up.
I'm 100% for real.
I thought you were going to say something like, I was told you shouldn't watch Happy Feet because it might make you happy. And I was like, that's on par. That
No,
sounds
they
about
thought
Yeah,
it
they're
was
gonna
a
give you a
liberal
foot
agenda
fetish.
to push that global warming crap.
I remember when my aunt wouldn't let my cousins watch Harry Potter when it first came out, like, the books,
couldn't.
whenever that was. I wasn't interested, so like it didn't matter. But I
Same.
remember she was like, it's witchcraft. And I remember even back when I was a kid, I'd be like, I mean, your favorite movie is about a mermaid that gets legs and like that magic is okay.
Obviously.
That's underwater magic.
The rules are different.
Yeah, that's
My
the
thing was-
wetland.
All the
Or-
all the Christians boycotting Harry Potter, but also like standing in line overnight to get tickets to Lord of the Rings. It was like, it's different. It's an allegory. No. He was very clear that it's not an allegory. You just are a hypocrite.
Yeah. It's so I don't remember any shows that I wasn't allowed to watch, movies or TV shows, because of anything magic or anything like that. Besides like Harry Potter. April, was there anything you remember like you weren't allowed to watch?
I mean, yeah. Harry Potter is the most obvious one. I wasn't allowed to watch the Power Rangers.
Why? Because they're magic?
I think magic and maybe violence, but I could watch Beetleborgs, which was like the off-brand version of the Power Rangers. It was basically the same thing. It just wasn't the Power Rangers.
So there was this this is what I remember. I could be wrong. There was this big thing when the Power Rangers came out because the Power Rangers were based on either a Japanese show or a Chinese show. And it had more to do with that, like the symbols and things that they used, and all of that was like, I don't even remember now, but I want to say it was like Tai Chi or something. I don't know. It was like some Eastern philosophy like that Christians just couldn't understand, had zero connection to this very Americanized version of a television show. Because I wasn't allowed to watch that one either.
Yeah, I asked my mom recently, like, why couldn't we watch Power Rangers? She didn't even remember. She's like, I don't know. Other parents we're doing it. It's like, oh, cool.
My parents were definitely not strict when it came to like those shows in that regard, except I was not allowed to watch Rugrats because I was mean like Angelica. I would do things that she did, so I wasn't allowed to watch it. But we were not allowed to be anything scary for Halloween.
Same.
And then when I was like in 6th grade, my mom let me be a witch, and my sister was so pissed because she was like, why are you letting her? But I was the last kid and they just get really tired, right? So I think she just was like, okay, if you want to be a witch, you can be a witch. So she let me, but we always had to be happy and joyful things when we dressed up.
Think on good things.
I was a Dorothy one year. That was probably my favorite.
Dorothy, not this Dorothy.
Oh,
Dorothy
Not
from
this
Wizard
year.
of Oz.
Yes, Dorothy Wizard of
Why
Oz.
was Wizard of Oz okay?
Oh,
No, they're
good
witches.
call. Literal wizard.
Yeah, and
Because
also,
they watched that growing up.
let's
so
be
it's
really
different.
clear. Why was Return to Oz okay? Because
Yeah.
that shit was scary as fuck.
I didn't watch that
My
one.
kids desperately want to watch it, and I'm like, no, I will not sit through watching the Wheelers.
Yeah.
I will have
understand.
nightmares for days.
I wonder
can
what
really
that,
talk
I would
about
like to hear some Christian parent who believes that they have a reason. Like, because most, might be like, oh, I don't know. They'd be like, no, there is a difference. I'd like to hear them say the difference between all of the magic we were allowed to watch and the magic we weren't allowed to watch.
Yeah, because we were allowed to watch Lord of the Rings and Chronicles of Narnia, obviously.
But
but
people
not
were
Harry
like,
Potter.
Tolkien and C.S. Lewis were Christians. It's different. There was this fake news story that went around for years that, I mean, listen, J.K. Rowling has said some awful fucking shit. Like, let's be
Awful.
really
Oh,
clear.
she's been awful, especially
She
the
is
last few
a
years. Yeah.
garbage pail of a human being. But back then, Twitter wasn't a thing, and she had not said all of those things yet. And there were all these fake news stories about how she had said in an interview that she wanted to, quote, destroy the false idol of Jesus Christ in the minds of children. And I remember being probably 16 and hearing that and being like, yeah, she didn't say that. That's terrible publicity. There's no way her handlers would let her say that. And now, after everything she said, I'm like, well, maybe I was wrong. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Apparently,
remember
they do not have quite the handle on her. I thought they did.
I remember hearing something similar, and they were basically painting J.K. Rowling as this huge antichrist person that she was like, she hates God. She's trying to. But then I remember, I feel like I read an article at some point. What is her religion? I feel like she was like,
I
maybe
don't
I'm
know.
making this up, but I thought she was some kind of brand of Christian. Andrew says that she's Anglican.
Oh, interesting.
Because I remember when I heard that, I was like, why would she be antichrist? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
So when I was 16, I went to my friend's. My friend was having a 16th birthday party for herself, and it was dinner and then going to see the new Harry Potter movie that released on her day. And I don't remember which one it was, but it was maybe the third, fourth one. I don't know. And I could only go to the.
I've seen them. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Oh.
I'm with you.
Never seen any.
Anyway, I could only go to the dinner, and I had to leave because I wasn't allowed to see the movie. It was so embarrassing.
That is
Another
really embarrassing.
Another thing I was not allowed to watch randomly was The Notebook.
Well, yeah, that's a sexy time issue.
It wasn't
Because
because of sexy time. It was because she disobeyed her parents to date the guy that she
Oh.
wanted to date, and I had just started dating.
Man, what a weird hill to die on. Because her parents in that movie are arguably assholes. Like, you know what I mean? It's like
Horrible.
her dad smacks her at one point. Like, it's not like
Right.
her parents are these loving, wonderful, godly people who are like, we really feel like this is a bad idea. He's like, got her by the wrist at the dinner table. He's like, I forbid you.
I was allowed to basically watch anything I wanted. I
And
really
you
was.
didn't watch Harry Potter?
I know, and I still have no interest. My sister, it's like they're her favorite books, but I've never watched it.
Rachel, you're a Slytherin.
That's what I've
That
heard.
probably means nothing to her. What am I, Abby?
I would say you're a Hufflepuff. No, I'm sorry. I mixed up my words. I meant Gryffindor.
Mm. Well,
Do
and
you-
all the
do you know what
quizzes,
you are?
I mean, based on the quizzes, I'm a Ravenclaw.
Oh, interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that.
But I usually get like Ravenclaw and then Gryffindor, like pretty close, but usually Ravenclaw's a little on top.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I.
Rachel, shut up. This is important. For those of you listening who don't know, Rachel's just raising her hand because she wants to interject.
I'm just gonna take a water break, y'all. Just have fun taking a water break.
Mhm.
Cut.
No, I probably need to take it again. I feel like depending on how I'm feeling when I take it, I get different answers or different results. That's the same way I feel about personality tests. I feel like I'm so aware of what I want the result to be that I like overthink it to be like, am I answering this because this is how I actually feel, or am I answering this because I feel like this is how I'm supposed to react as a good woman? It's probably that purity culture
As
crap.
a good woman.
As a
Probably
good
is.
old woman.
Guys, this has been the most random
we're
half hour
we're like
of my life.
almost like staying on topic. You guys like horror films, scary films?
Absolutely not.
I
April?
kind of do. I
Oh.
say I don't, but then I watch them and I like them. As long
No.
as I don't have nightmares,
No.
I enjoy
Yeah, but
them.
what level is that then? Like, what kind of, what's the last horror movie you watched?
Well, we've been watching Cabinet of Curiosity. We watched one of those from Netflix. They're like an anthology series, so each
Yeah.
episode stands
No, I know what
alone.
it is.
Yeah. So we watched one of those last night, but they're not like wasn't like true horror. So I guess
Yeah,
the
so,
last
what's the last true-
horror
Yeah.
was Mandy. I watched that like a month ago with Nicolas Cage. It's like a cult meets slasher. There's also like demon things in it.
See,
It's
we
more
might be
gory
talking
than
about,
horror.
because the thing for me is most horror movies these days just come across as like slasher porn, and I'm just not into it. Like it,
Yeah, that was
I
definitely
don't-
more of a slasher film.
yeah.
I don't really like slasher films. The probably the last like horror. Trying to think.
This is now the third one you've said.
Well,
I mean, there's like different levels of horror.
I know.
And
That's why I said, what was
Also,
the
I
last
feel like every
horror
time
movie?
I say horror, I say horror.
You're just calling
The
it
last horror movie I watched.
That last horror movie. Horror. What did we watch last year? Last year we watched. Well, have you seen Midnight Mass? Would you consider that
Yes.
horror?
No. I mean,
Okay.
it is
I haven't
in
seen
that
it.
genre, but it's not
Mhm.
like, so one of the last real true horror movies that I watched, and to be fair, I had eaten a lot of pop brownies at this point in the evening.
See, that's
we watched,
awful
yeah.
to watch.
And then my
horror when
friend was
you're
like,
high.
let's watch The Devil's Rejects. And I was like, cool. I don't know. Oh no,
haven't
wait,
seen
which
it.
one
I
came
don't
first?
even know what any of these are.
House of a Thousand Corpses, which is Rob Zombie's horror
Mm.
movie, his first directorial debut.
Hard pass.
It's awful.
Haven't seen it.
The
Mhm.
images, I mean, it's been easily 20 years since I've seen it, and the images will never leave my mind. And after that day, I was like, yeah, I think I'm done.
That was like no more horror.
No more horror.
Did you watch The Haunting of Hill House?
No.
That's definitely true. I actually really like that though.
And I've watched American Horror Story Coven. That's the only one I've ever watched, but I
won't
watched
watch
it with
those.
Google by my side so that I could know what was coming up in case I needed to
Mm.
fast forward it.
Interesting.
I've seen in none of these and heard of almost none of them. Nicole in the comments said, I prefer 1930s black and white horror. Okay, same.
Okay, so then you
Same.
would like. I think you would like this. There's a Marvel special on Disney Plus right now called
Yeah.
Werewolf by Night, and it's made like a campy, black and white, old time type of horror film, but it's only like 53 minutes, and we just watched it today. Actually, it was really good.
Did it scare you?
It's not like true scary.
Yeah.
It's more
It's like camp.
suspenseful. Yeah. And it
I
deals
think
with
that's
werewolves.
why. So there's something about like those old black and white horror films that I love so much because they had none of the green screens and the animatronics and any of that stuff, and they scared the fuck out of me. Like there's a movie called The Bad Seed that if you can find that streaming anywhere, you all need to watch The Bad Seed. And the fact that it is this little girl, black and white, terrible,
Little girls are the worst. Was she
Ew.
British?
Yeah.
Because that's like the trifecta.
Patty McCormick.
Hello.
is the
Child,
actress.
female, British is like the worst.
And she
Terrifying.
scares
Stay
you
with us,
so
Jenny.
bad. The birds like scared me
Oh, the
so
birds.
I watched
freaking
that when I
bad.
was 10.
Like
My parents let me watch the freaking birds when I was 10, and I couldn't watch Harry Potter in high school.
All I
I also
remember,
feel like with black and white movies, you don't always realize that it's a horror movie.
yeah.
One of my very favorite movies is called Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, and that shit is terrifying.
I haven't seen that.
If you even knew how often I said it today, that my brother and I go, but you are Blanche. You are in that chair.
Oh,
We say
God.
it so much. Nicole has The Bad Seed on DVD. Yes, we should be best friends. Oh my gosh, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane is one of my favorite movies. I knew we were friends for a reason.
I made somebody watch. I made like my friend group in college watch it, and at the end, literally nobody said a word the entire time. And then at the end, they just all turned and looked at me, and they were like, "Are you what the fuck is wrong with you?" That was awful. They're like, "It's not even funny," and I was like, "Why did you think it was going to be?
It's not
funny?"
supposed to be funny. Literally, but you are Blanche. You are in that chair. It's because I said to somebody today that you were being Blanche, and when I say the name Blanche, it makes me just quote.
Have you watched the show with Susan Sarandon and I can't remember her name, where they play Betty Davis and
I have what's her name? I know her name, and now I can't think of it.
I know. Joan
Same-
Crawford.
Joan Crawford. I would say, "Mommy dears." No, I haven't seen the show. I know what you're talking about, but I haven't.
It's so good.
Is
I
it?
feel like that could be a good horror movie watch. The truth is, I like horror movies as long as they're not like one of my very favorite movies is from 1998. It's called The Faculty. I think Rachel and I have talked about this.
She loves The Faculty.
I love The Faculty so much. And there's this moment where this is the kind of movie where like why can't I think of Jon Stewart has there's a scene, I don't care that I'm spoiling it, this movie is so old. Jon Stewart has been taken over by an alien and he's trying to kill some students and they're like fighting with him, and Josh Hartnett rips a paper cutter apart and just uses the paper cutter blade like a machete and cuts his hands off, and then it stabs him in the eye with drugs. And I'm not even joking. Like, that's just the scene in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
And you love it.
And I love it. It's my favorite Halloween movie. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Devin. I love it.
What about Stranger Things?
I
you
like
watch that?
Stranger Things.
You've seen it?
Yeah, I like Stranger Things.
That's got a horror element to
Well,
it.
and I think it's weird because as much as I don't like to be super scared, I love suspense. So like The Watcher, I binge watched The Watcher a couple weeks ago. Like I
haven't seen that.
I really liked that. Like
I thought everyone was talking about The Witcher. It was just like misspelling it.
Like, how does
For a
Rachel
while, it was
keep
like The
posting
Watcher
about
on
this?
Netflix.
I thought everyone was talking about The Watcher in the Woods with Betty Davis
Yeah.
from the 80s.
No, it's just The Watcher. So I don't mind suspense. I think what I don't like is like gore. Like I
Yeah.
remember in high school, the things I did just to like be around my friends and my boyfriend, like I would go to movies all the time and then I would get up. I think I told you this the other day, Abby. I would go to the bathroom like 9 times during the movie because I was like, I just gotta go. Because I couldn't be in there watching people just get like hostile and all these, just get fucking murdered and like tortured and
torture for like
No,
for the
so
sake
gross.
of fun in the like the Saw movies.
No,
I
those.
refuse to watch any of those. Like I
can't do it.
I won't do it. I like scary if there's some type of redemption. If even if it's just one person that
Don't
survives,
or even just
Don't
a
watch
good
Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
right. Or just a good storyline though, right? So like if you scare me in the process of telling me a really good story, okay. If you're just murdering a bunch of people and that's the whole movie, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and all this like shit.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I
don't like
When we were teenagers, that was really when horror movies got their big comeback kick.
Yep.
Like I can remember, oh my word,
Same.
I was madly in love with Chris Ganser. Hi, Chris, from up the street. And I think I was 14, maybe 15, and he was 16 or 17. And he came by my house on Friday night and he was like, hey, a bunch of us are going to watch the Blair Witch Project up at my house. I came to pick you up. Do you want to come up? And I was like, totally. Oh my God. Yeah. I just have to go ask my mom. And I went to my mom and I was like, he couldn't see us. He could just hear us. And I was like, you look at me. You look. I'm pointing at my eyes for people who can't see it. And I was like, Mom, Chris is here and he wants to know if I can come watch a movie. Now, I'd really like to go. Please, can I go? And my mom was like, no. What? Because I'm like shaking my head aggressively at her, like, you better say no. Don't you dare say yes. Don't make me be uncool. I'm gonna have to say no. And to this day, I have never seen the Blair Witch Project.
You've never seen it?
No,
I've never seen it either.
You
You
see it, Carrie?
Listen, April, from the years of 1997 to 2003, if my friends wanted to do something, I would do it and I would just freak out the entire time. I went to haunted houses with them and I would like bury my face in the back of somebody's jacket and like just not look at a single thing because I didn't want to miss out.
Yeah. I do like haunted houses.
No,
I like
no.
being... You don't like haunted houses?
They're the fucking worst.
No, they're
no.
hey,
Although I
it's
will
nothing like a
say-
hell house. I can go through a haunted house and know like this is all fake, and a hell house are like this could happen to you.
I'm about to bring us down a notch, but just
Oh,
I would just
no.
want to say though, because this was something that I learned later on in my adult life that was very interesting about like your nervous system dysregulation based on trauma and oftentimes abuse, and how situations like a haunted house where that's jump scares, your nervous system from trauma and abuse that you've been through is so shot that those things actually genuinely re-traumatize you. I've only been to one haunted house in my life. And when I get jump scared, my entire body goes fire hot with pins and needles all down it. And then my muscles are like sore for the rest of the day. And it was a therapist I had a long time ago who was like, that's a nervous system reaction to the fact that you are triggered by what you've just experienced. And I was like, oh, so I shouldn't go? And she was like, no, no. And that was a really interesting thing for me to learn because it explained a lot about it's called an exaggerated startle response. And if you have
Interesting.
that on the basis of trauma or abuse, haunted houses are basically the worst place you could be. I've only ever been to one, and I went with my friend Dan, who realized that I was freaking out. So then he started crawling along the floor. And when someone would, like a worker would pop out to scare us, he would pop up in front of them and scare them back. And that was pretty entertaining. I'm not going to lie to you.
I had to be let out of one halfway through one time.
Really?
I was like that person that went through that door. You know what I'm talking about? That door off to the
No.
side. Some haunted houses have like a, okay, you can leave
Like
door.
a panic door?
I was the panic door girl. Yep. Get me the out. Get me out. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I think there's different levels of haunted houses. Like there's like, I mean, I've been to a couple. I've been to probably 12 haunted houses, and some of them. There was one that legitimately scared me because I had just seen one of the Halloween movies with Michael Myers.
One of the 94 Halloween movies.
One of the million of them.
I love that they've made so many that they're like, that one's not even canon anymore.
Anyway, it was one of them, and I had never seen any of them before, and I went with some guy that I don't even know if it was a date. I think
you
he thought
went
it
to
was
a haunted house with a boy.
No, I went to watch the movie Halloween with this dude, and I didn't even like this dude. I was just bored. Yeah. Anyway, I literally walk out of the movie halfway through because I was so scared. I was like, I'm not finishing this movie. And so then, like a few weeks later, me and my friends go to this haunted house, and one of the rooms was freaking, they had a giant dressed as Michael Myers. I about like passed out right then. I was like, this is nope, that's it. But then like a guy's chasing us with a chainsaw. Like there's some, I don't know, I'm able to somehow in a haunted house separate that like these are all just people acting. In fact, I would love to be one of the people that work the haunted houses. I had friends that used to do that. They say it was so fun and you could like just to scare people. I feel like that would be fun.
I would scare myself. I would be scared like sitting in there. I am just a scared kid, which again, we could take this serious and realize what this comes from, a lifetime of, being told I was going to hell 3 times a week when I was 2 and 3 years old. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's totally normal.
The thing is, in Illinois, there's a haunted prison, and it's like legitimately on the haunted Illinois tourist attractions for being a prison that is no longer in working order, that is haunted. And at Halloween, I don't know if they do it anymore, but as recently as 5 years ago, they set up a haunted house in it at Halloween. And there is this deeply evangelical part of me that's like, that's just asking for trouble.
Well, we went on a
like I'm trying to release that past, but like that one gets me.
Guys, there's limits to it, okay?
Right. You can't control what you get when you play with the devil.
Oh, I think part of it is like Beecher and I have made films, and they actually made a horror, like it was like a horror comedy musical film with at one of their colleges. So, but like there's like scary imagery in the film, but when you're on set and you see like, you just see the behind the scenes and that they're all people and it's just like totally chill. And like the person that's in this like really grotesque makeup is just eating a Chick-fil-A sandwich during break.
But
it just kind of
their makeup. And I'm not like, that's a real zombie. It's all about the jump scare. It's all about the startleability.
Yeah.
I mean, because let's be honest, I'm in a haunted house. I know what's happening. I understand the point of it. It's just strictly the jump scares.
My sister and I are both really jumpy people. So, and I feel like that's got to come from something too, right? Like, I don't know if you saw on my personal Instagram today, I put a story where I was like sitting in my car and I was about to run in somewhere, and you can just tell when someone's like looking at you. And I look up and this dog, it's just a dog, it's a fucking standard poodle, was sitting in the driver's seat of the car next to me. And I jumped because it just was there. My sister jumps if she knows I'm in her house. But I walk in and she doesn't know I'm in the room and she sees me, she will gasp and jump.
That's an exaggerated startle response. My husband
called my therapist this week
mercilessly for it, because even the things he does to try to alert me to his presence, I am afraid of. I get startled by those things. So like if he gets home, he'll call into our home like, Abby, I'm entering the room. And I'm like, oh my my god.
Oh my goodness. I
gotta
think
talk to Marilyn about this. My therapist is Marilyn, for those of you who don't know.
Hey, speaking of your Instagram, though, you wore a costume. I don't know if it was yesterday or
Last
today.
night.
That is the literal stuff of my fucking nightmares. That goddamn story.
You know what's funny is
The second I saw that stupid ribbon, I was like, what the fuck?
the funny thing is like it's so niche that it's like a very small like age group at this party, and like knew
April.
who I was. April, did you know who I was in that picture?
Do you know the story of the girl with the green ribbon?
Jenny.
No.
And her
Should
husband
I
Alfred.
know this? No.
So did you go to Christian school in like elementary?
In elementary?
Yeah.
No, I was homeschooled.
Oh, okay. That might be it, because
Next level.
they started reading this book to us literally in first or second grade. Like, what the fuck was wrong with these people?
Dude, what was I mean,
What
a lot. Like, let's be
was it?
honest.
But the story, April, is basically this girl, Jenny. She wears this green ribbon around her neck, and her boyfriend turned husband always wants her to take it off and ask. And she's like, never, 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 never take it off. She's like on her deathbed, and she lets him take it off, and her head falls off.
Because she was headless the whole time.
Headless the whole time. So it's a little elementary story. There's no reason that
there's not
somebody
like a
just stop.
moral. It's not like a you know, like
My
a
earring.
fable where there's some sort of
there's no redemption
thing to learn. Like, it's just like,
No.
oh, she was a monster, literally dead the whole time. Haha.
Yep. And it traumatized a lot of us in 1990. So
Oh my gosh.
So there were people that would come into the party last night, and they'd be like, I know who you are. And then all of a sudden they'd be like, oh, you're the girl with the head. I'm like,
Oh my gosh, that's so creepy.
You were traumatized too, huh?
Creepy.
Yeah.
Don't recall that
that's
one.
who I was. That's who I was last night. I love that somebody
Yes.
over here, Michelle's over here, like, I blocked that out of my mind, but I remember that now that you're explaining it.
Yes.
I
I felt
know.
the same way. And when I saw your picture, it was exactly that. I saw it and I was like, wait. Oh God, no.
Yeah, she wrote me and she was like, it's literally the stuff of my nightmares
Devin,
or something
there
like that.
is a movie about that book.
Somebody told me last
Absolutely
night
not.
that there's something on HBO or something.
Absolutely.
Why
not.
would they read that to children? I don't
I don't know. And it's like
In
a legitimate
first-
children's book.
It's stories you tell in the dark, share in the dark
Mhm.
or something. Is like it's a collection of short stories, but that's the one
Oh.
that got us. And I
This
remember
was-
being in the
This
library,
portion of
like,
the podcast was only supposed to be like,
and we were supposed to talk about how like dumb and how easy it is for like Christians to buy into all that stuff and what the difference is between the like why they let us do some magic and not other. Oh, in a dark, dark room, and it's a second grade book. Hope says unacceptable.
The thing that traumatized me, I don't remember what it was called, but there were these like Christian cartoons, and they had little bugs were like the main characters, and one of the stories was there were these bugs, and they were talking about like the dangers of the spider webs, and that you shouldn't go near the spider webs, and you shouldn't do
are you
these bad
talking about
things.
Gallivants?
I don't know. Is that what it's called? But I know there was one episode in particular, and I hated it whenever this one would play. They would play it in kids' church. And literally one of the bugs chose to like do the bad thing or do a sin and ends up
Do a
getting
sin.
stuck in a spider web.
Of
And he's
course.
like, help me, help me, help me. Like this bug is talking. You have emotions connected to this bug. And then this spider.
I
Hold
can't.
on, I can't see it.
I know. I'm going to text it to you.
Text it to me. Anyway, this spider crawls onto the web and eats this bug. And it's animated and it's not that graphic, but you hear chomping and
Ew.
crunches. And I like to this day, I have the image burned into my brain. It was so traumatizing. And it was all about how you shouldn't sin because a spider could eat you.
That's why now the payment for sin is spiders eating you.
Dude, if Sunday school had told me that,
I think it was that. That looks familiar. I think it was that.
They also had another one that was really big in Sunday schools was their ants, and they have like bumps on their butts, and they have to like earn their bumps to be adults. I don't know. It was the weirdest shit in the whole world, but it was.
Speaking of ants, Did y'all see the picture that was released? That is like what an ant's face actually looks like.
Yeah,
Also, I wish I'd never seen that either.
Did you then see the person that was like, "Hey, justice for this ant because this person was a douche," and they zoomed in on like just their mouth. It looks like his eyes are right there, but really his eyes are back here. And
They're
when
over
you
on
pull
this side.
out, it's way less creepy.
But it's still creepy.
It's
Those
pretty
teeth are
creepy.
gnarly.
Yeah, but if you close up
I
on
love that you're like
anybody's
justice
teeth-
for the ant.
justice for the ant. Because you want to know what I thought when I saw that? I was like, honey, I Shrunk the Kids lied to me.
I'm like, listen, those ants are real nice, and those giant oatmeal cream pies. I was very jealous of those in that movie. I'm like, I want a giant oatmeal cream pie.
We are off the rails.
We are. Can I ask you guys a question about all this? Because we
Yeah.
come from two different backgrounds in terms of church stuff. So I don't know if your churches and your upbringing was the kind of more charismatic that leans towards like divine healing and miracles and those kind of things. Like, was it, first of all?
Yes.
Okay, so I love that I wish anybody listening to this could see Abby just chucked her shoulder pads and she's taking her layers off. She's about to not be blanched in
It's too
2
much for
seconds.
me.
But I was curious, like, okay, being Baptist, we even thought all of that was evil. Okay, like we thought the stuff that was happening in charismatic churches was evil.
We would always joke though that whenever a Baptist was on their deathbed, they didn't want a Baptist praying over them. They wanted a
They
Pentecostal.
want to yell. So
Yeah.
my question would be, so if magic was like as a whole evil for us, but as people that like believed in divine things that God could do you think that it was even more so that your preachers and parents and whatever were like, this is bad and this is good? Like they went even harder on the bad kind of magic, or were they probably maybe a little bit more gracious to it than a Baptist who would be like, all of that is terrible? Does my question make sense?
In my growing up, I don't know how it was for a Baptist, but I'll say in my growing up, I mean, they went hard on it because it was not just evil in the sense that it was witchcraft. So it was evil. It was evil in the sense that it was basically blasphemy, because what you're taught, or at least what I was taught, is that it's like there are these things that are true and real, and people are perverting them, and the devil's greatest trick is to mirror the miracles of Jesus. And so you think that like this power, but the power is coming from the devil. And the analogy of if you open the window without a screen so you get the breeze, you can't control what else comes in, and and so it was like it was also this sense of like you were trying, if you were messing around with those things, you were saying that God's power wasn't enough and you needed your own power.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really make sense, like looking back on it, because if we are to believe that God is all power, and going to the Jamie Gooch lady that we watched earlier, like how is God like all powerful and omnipresent and is everywhere and is the greatest being in all of the universe? But then if you just aren't paying attention, those Hocus Pocus demons
Bette
come
Midler
through
will
the
get
TV.
you.
No, it's the foothold. You can't play with the Ouija board because it gives the devil a foothold.
I did play with the Ouija
can't
board.
Look at tarot cards or spell books because it gives the devil a foothold. Like the devil's gonna be like, foothold, climbing on in there. I'm in your life now.
The stronghold.
It took any like as a kid, I remember legitimately being afraid of things and being like, I don't want to give the devil a foothold, because it made it seem like the devil could just enter your life, or in my upbringing, possess you.
Really?
You gave the devil a foothold.
Yep. They were like the difference of like, oh, they may not be possessed, but they have a stronghold, which just meant the demon wasn't in you. It was just attached to your body.
And there was like a child version of the Screw Tape Letters that one of the big themes in it was that the boy went to a party, a cool beer party with his friends, and they played with a Ouija board, and that was going to be the demon that was after him. That was the demon's, back door in. And I look back at it now and I'm like, oh God, I was in the 6th grade when my parents gave me that book.
Oh gosh. We just didn't talk about it, I think, because we were just like, we were just being taught basically all of it was bad. So it was kind of like, Oh, all that crazy stuff over there. I see it. That's why I wanted to ask, because I'm like, did they have to like be even more like strong on the difference between what you guys accepted as God doing things versus
It was just
the
demonizing
devil?
everything that wasn't what
Yeah.
we did.
So that segues to the kind of like the way we kind of all view that kind of stuff now. So it's weird how much stuff obviously we still have to be like breaking down on us all the time, because right now currently I have been looking online and reading reviews for a local medium because I'd like to go see one.
You gonna go to a
Ooh.
psychic, Rachel?
The
A
devil's
medium.
gonna get a foothold.
Right? A medium. I would like to. So if anybody in the Cincinnati area has worked with a medium that they enjoy, please let me know, because there are a couple people that I would like to connect with if I can. So Rachel, the first 30 whatever years of her life would just be like, what?
The audacity.
The
of you.
audacity.
What?
And now I'm like, I want to. So like I can't tell you an exact like time that like my feelings on I don't even know what word I'm looking for, because I don't want to say like magic. Is there like a better word? Supernatural things outside of God.
Alternative supernatural vehicles.
Things.
I don't know.
Yes. Like I don't know when it changed, but I know that it did. Like now, like the concept of witchcraft does not scare me. I like
also
want to
think some of
learn
that comes
about
from
it.
like understanding what it is, because growing up in the
Mhm.
church, when somebody says witchcraft, you literally think of the Macbeth witches, like huddled over a cauldron, like
Trying to steal children's souls.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
And now I'm like, man, those bitches are just putting cinnamon around their windows because they don't want bad vibes. Like
Well,
I'm
every year you hear about how you have to bless the candy that your kids get if they participate in trick or treating,
I'll be
because
honest with you,
witches have
literally
cursed
never
it.
heard that. I
You've
have
never heard
never
that?
heard that until
Never.
the last like year.
Never.
Oh
And I was
no,
like,
I've heard it that witches curse the candy.
my parents used to go through our candy to make sure that there was nothing homemade.
No razor blades.
Yeah, because they were like razor blades in the popcorn balls. And I was like, what the fuck?
My parents went through our candy to take the good shit.
Dude, did you see the TikTok where the girl was like, here's the script for telling your kids there's been a recall on Reese's peanut butter cups. Sorry, guys,
my
we can't have
gosh.
that in your bags anymore.
I knew
Conspiracy.
people that went that
Yours?
they impose a candy tax, a 10% candy
No.
tax, or a candy tithe. We got to give the money or the candy to their parents, 10% of it.
Well, so back to your question. I don't know if you actually asked a question, but I do care about talking about this because I think that it is valid. So what I was gonna say was, I think some of it just boils down to learning what things actually are.
Yeah.
And I can remember I was always drawn to that sort of thing. And one of my biggest pieces of deconstruction was having grace for myself in that. And then eventually being like, yeah, whatever, man, learn about your zodiac. You're like 70% water and the moon controls water. So why is it so crazy to think that where the planets exist and where the moon was when you were born has zero impact on you as a person, or that where the moon is at different, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm never going to be that person that's like, I'm that way because I'm a Gemini.
You don't have to look to the stars for
I
your
do
answer.
that. I do that.
'Cause you can look to the one who made those stars.
But like, I have multiple books on like kitchen witching, and I have multiple decks of tarot cards. I should have read your guys' cards on this episode.
What a fucking fail,
Dude.
Can I just tell y'all, up until like the last year, maybe the last 2 years, I thought they were tarot cards.
Of
Stop
course
it.
you
That's
did.
a lie. No, you didn't.
I did. I don't ever read it. Like, I don't think. Yeah, I thought they were tarot cards for a long
When
time.
I was in high school, I had a deck of, because back, one of the things that they say about tarot cards, and it's not true, is that for tarot cards to have power, you can't buy them yourself. You either have to steal them or you have to be gifted them. That's why
them.
in most bookstores, the tarot decks are behind like a little locked cabinet, like at Borders back then or Barnes and Nobles now. A lot of the tarot decks are behind a little locked cabinet. So I couldn't buy myself tarot cards, and no one in my life was going to gift them to me, and I couldn't risk stealing them. So I bought fortune cards because I was like, it's a loophole.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Really nothing. Fortune cards, it's based on a different card set and different like, because all tarot, this is what I've learned in reading tarot cards, because I do it now for myself and for people in my life. And what I've learned is it is just intuition. And I don't mean that in the sense like I'm just going to tell you whatever I think you need to hear. It's literally like the cards mean certain things, but how those things are applied to your life is based on you and your life. So it would be like me telling you, you really need to let go and let God. Well, who knows what I'm talking about? You decide what in your life you need to release and I'll give to the Lord. Tarot cards are no different. So if I read somebody's cards and it's like, I read my cards the other day, the spread that I most often do is I think of a situation and I say, what do I need to accept? What do I need to release? And what do I need to acknowledge? And it's not specific things. It doesn't tell me like, you need to acknowledge that yesterday you went to the 7-Eleven and you dropped $1. Like, it's not specific situations. It's vibes and feelings and thoughts. And I get to decide how it applies to my life or how it applies to the person I'm reading for. We talk together and kind of discover that. And it's literally no different than discernment. Like, honest to God, it's literally no different than what we in the church would call discernment. It is me saying, wise things that a person might need to hear for a situation in their life that is totally up to them.
Yeah.
And I think learning that and understanding that so much of the stuff that I was taught to be afraid of is actually just literally not different than, like, I love to tell Christians that weddings are witchcraft. You are exchanging symbology. Symbology is not a word. I just like to say that to them because it freaks them out. You're exchanging symbology. The wedding ring is a symbol. You are performing an incantation, the vows, believing that your intention will manifest in a long and happy marriage. That's fucking witchcraft. Like, they get really mad. Really mad.
Well, so is the whole name it and claim it, speak it.
Well, that's what, like, so even you just saying manifest, like, I'm like, yeah, because, they'll tweet all these things and say all this negative stuff about people that manifest it. They think that's like really like, Antichrist manifest and name it and click. Like, they literally do the same thing though.
That's did y'all hear Greg Locke is having another book burning? He went
yes,
off on like, he wants you to burn Catholic rosaries because Catholicism is idolatry. That's what he said. Also, he went on a real long rant on Freemasons, and literally a guy responds and was like, hey, I'm a Freemason and you really don't understand what you're talking about. And then Greg Locke replied and was like, I know more about Freemasonry than you.
Of course he said that.
I'm like, the dude's a Freemason, weirdo.
Well, so I made a video months ago. Well, actually, it might have been even like a year ago, that got a whole lot of people hating me on TikTok because I was talking about Bethel and it landed on charismatic.
The Bethelites get real mad if you go after Bethel.
And I wasn't like making fun. I was like actually like in a really like frustrated place sorting through something.
You upset Christians on the internet?
It's like a thing I'm trying. It's new. It's totally new. But they, I was talking about, like the Olive thing that they were trying to raise her from the dead and all.
That was so tragic.
And it was just tragic. And I felt like they were taking advantage, blah, blah, blah. Well, the people in the comments, and it was really clear to me. And again, I'm coming from Baptist background, but I'm like, to me, as somebody who never has believed and practiced divine healing and interventions in that way, I hear it and I'm just like, this sounds like the very same thing you all are criticizing, right? It's like the same. You think that God's going to raise a dead child.
But it's all about where it's based. Where is the power based? If the power you're seeking is based in God, then it's selfless and you're just giving glory to God. But if the power you're seeking is based somewhere else, then you're stealing glory from the Lord and allowing the devil to take hold of your life.
Well, so that's what I'm like, who's to say that the power isn't from God, that I go to a medium and have some sort of gain some peace from a connection of somebody telling me something from Nancy or my mama and papa that would just like bring me peace. I'm like, haven't had for 2 years.
Because it's not real, Rachel.
I'm doing it. And I want
to give you peace.
Listen, if I go to a medium and they tell me something that like nobody in the world knows, I'm I'm a full
Yeah.
believer. I'm a full believer.
I think that the thing is people act like it's so easy to fake those things and people are just charlatans. And I want to be like, I've literally watched countless evangelists
Oh God.
heal people's backs by
Mhm.
having them sit down and stick their legs straight out, and then they hold their legs. Yep, one leg is shorter than the other, and then
Oh,
they
yeah.
hold their legs by the ankles straight and pray over them, and then
Mhm.
not magically, I'm so sorry, miraculously,
Miraculously, yeah.
the leg pulls out, and it grows and it stretches, and I want to be like, do you not know anything about muscle groups? Of course,
No, they don't.
if you were holding legs straight out like that, like of course the legs lengthen. Like, what are
Yeah.
you talking about? Are you crazy?
Also,
Also,
I was very surprised at how many people are walking around with one leg shorter than the other.
so
Well, and
many.
also, how come everybody that needs healing, that's the thing they need healing from and or for?
Yeah.
Like,
can't
I feel my broken neck, man. Come on.
I can't remember what I was listening to. Like actually maybe it was Heaven Bent. I can't remember. But this third season, which y'all should be listening to if you're not, especially my little Pentecostal sisters over here, y'all should be listening to it.
I
Glory.
lived it. I don't know if I'm like, I'm good.
But it's pretty good. I can't remember if it was this season or not, but it was a former evangelist talking about, you're in a room of 500 people. He'd be like, somebody in here just got a cancer diagnosis, because the likeliness, he would admit it. He's like, I would say something like that because
Yeah.
the chances of those things happening, and this guy would be like, it's me. And then it felt divine and it felt like this like connection. So
Yeah.
then he would prophesy over him or something, just made up bullshit.
Oh yeah. Rachel, have you never been in a training for how to minister God's power to people?
I grew up Baptist and we didn't.
April,
do
did you
that.
guys ever do any trainings?
I mean, yeah, I don't know if it's the same. We would be trained on how to do spontaneous worship leading.
We did trainings on healings, and they taught you to focus on your body. Where do you feel a pain that isn't yours? So like if your shoulder,
literally my whole body.
if your shoulder, no, but that's not yours. If you feel shoulder pain and you've never, like your shoulder doesn't bother you, that pain belongs to someone around you, and you're supposed to lay hands on them and heal them. And I was always like, but when you say that, suddenly I'm very conscious of every joint and muscle in my body. And I'm like, they all hurt. Everyone around me must be suffering horribly. Like, April, how old were you the first time you participated in a faith healing? And regardless of whether it was successful.
Oh, I mean, I don't know that I could even tell you the earliest memory because I mean,
said it's giving cult.
I mean, randomly
You're not
throughout my
wrong.
entire life, we would like it wouldn't even necessarily be a healing service. Sometimes there would just be random healings that would the spirit moved.
So
Lots
I'm
of slain in the
37.
spirits.
37. I've been in a church my whole life, and I mean no exaggeration when I say this to you. I have never, not one time, seen any faith healing, been in the room for any kind of faith healing. I still don't really. You guys have explained slain in the spirit to me, but I've never seen something like that. I've like
It's a
not
wild
one time.
ride. Abby, have you ever been in a situation where you just got slain in the spirit, right? And you always want to lay down a decent amount of time before you get up.
You have to make it. You have to make it.
It seems like you were really hit. And
Were you like thinking about like your grocery list in your head or something like while you were laying there?
It's so weird though, because in looking back, like there were moments where it felt like real in a way, but like also I was super aware of everything that was going on. Huh?
It's called a group delusion.
Probably. But anyway, I remember, did this ever happen to you? Where you like get slain in the spirit, so you fall down. And if you don't know what being slain in the spirit is, for my Baptists out there, it's when a pastor,
Not just Baptist, but
and Presbyterians, Methodists, all things, they would lay hands on you, and then the Holy Spirit would fall upon you and then make you fall. And there'd be people behind you that would catch you.
Listen,
when
when
they
we're
lay you
done,
down.
search YouTube for Benny Hinn, let the bodies hit the floor.
Oh, I know. That's one of my favorite videos. Okay, but anyway, if you've been laying there and you've been there for a few minutes and you're about to get up, but right then is when the lady comes over and lays the modesty cloth on you.
No.
So then you feel like you got to lay down a little bit longer because she had just put the modesty cloth down.
No, we didn't really do. I've really only been in a few instances where we did modesty cloths.
Mm.
But I similarly have been in situations where I like just got the hit and like laid down and whatever. And then after a while was like, all right, I think that's enough. And was like ready to get up. But then someone else comes over to like sit with you and pray with you while you're still theoretically slain in the spirit. And I have very distinct memories of being like, do I like get up? Like, should I be like, I'm good. I'm actually awake now. You came at the, you hit the, I'm at the tail
You
end.
definitely don't want to be the first one to get up. Because
No.
then the Holy Spirit didn't hit you hard enough.
I'll be honest with you. I personally had very little. Oh, guys, I'm about to say some real douchey things, and I'm so sorry. I'm not this person anymore. I didn't do a lot of the getting slain. I did the slaying. And
Oh, you were a slayer? Slayer.
I don't know what we're talking about.
I was the one that was like, I just feel like there's something. I mean, listen, I'm not kidding you. I'm 14 years old at Bible camp, and I'm talking to, another teenager who's at the altar sobbing, and I'm praying for them in tongues. And then I'm like, you know what? I just feel like there's something keeping you from the Lord right now. There's just something between you and like really experiencing God's love. Well, of course, it's called being a teenager and not knowing what the fuck you're talking about. And they would look at me with like tears, like, you're so right. And I'd be like, I know.
Slay.
Oh gosh.
I am definitely going to have to like change my TikTok bio to like retired slayer or something.
Retired Pentecostal slayer. Okay, we should do our game.
We should. I saw what time it is. So, Abby, are you ready for yours? Like, did you get?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna go last though because I had to do two because I did the one on TikTok as well.
Okay. So we are reading like a trailer for a horror movie, but it's actually a story from the Bible because in terms of really awful things happening to people, sometimes divinely, nobody wrote it better than God themselves.
I'll be honest with you. I actually struggled to find a story where I was like, let me make this a horror movie because they were just all already horror movies.
Right? So I'll go first. I don't mind. Or April, if you want to go first, I don't care.
And you got to guess what it is when you're done.
Well, I mean, I like it. I have to be honest with you. I don't remember this story. Like, I don't remember that I ever heard this story, and I, studied the Bible a lot. I don't remember it. And also, I did not want to have to give a trigger warning, and so I leave a lot out of it in the trailer. Horrible. Okay, ready? I can't do like the voices that you guys do. I'm not a voice actor.
In a world.
That's what I needed to hear. Like Gibeah, starring Keanu Reeves. I just picked Keanu, by the way.
Oh, you are already fancier than mine is going to be.
One dark night, a man and his side chick decide to spend the night in a dangerous, strange place, but they can't find a room. An old man lets them stay at his house, but the local riffraff followed them there looking for a little trouble. When the man wakes up the next morning, his side chick is dead outside his door. So he cuts her up into pieces and he mails her to 12 places around the country. So everyone everywhere helps seeks his revenge on the town of Gibeah. Playing everywhere, Christmas 2022. Have anybody heard that story? Okay. Trigger warning for anybody that is listening to this. They came to the house to RAPE her. She was a concubine. They did.
Levite and
where in the Bible is this?
In Judges. They literally RAP'd her several times a night, killed her, left her on the front outside of the room he was at. He knew what they were doing, by the way. He gave her to them. And then, he put her on his donkey and went the rest of the way home and then cut her up in 12 pieces and sent it all over Israel. And then everybody came to like avenge her death.
Awful.
Fair, at least they avenged her. Like, that's more than most of the women in the Bible get. Like,
awful.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
I don't even remember the story about the Levite and his concubine. Like,
That's one of those where it's like, this is just already a horror movie. Like, it doesn't need any altering.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm done. That's mine.
Wow.
Sorry,
That's
guys. I didn't mean to.
Are you ready for mine?
Bring the room down.
That was pretty
Do
depressing.
you want to go, Abby?
No, I want to hear yours.
Okay, here we go. This is in the same think. I want you to think Stranger Things.
God, you guys both went so dark.
I want you to think It.
It's a horror movie game,
Kind of
Abby.
feel we're going for here, okay?
All right. Here, I'm
It
listening.
was a normal day for this small town. At dusk, a group of Boy Scouts playing in the woods are approached by a strange man.
I already
Odd.
know what it is.
Odd and cranky. The boys laugh at him. Get out of here, smoothhead! His eyes turn red. The old man yells something at the sky in a language they don't understand.
Tongue.
Suddenly, they hear roars, sharp teeth, claws, roars getting louder, footsteps approaching faster. Thud, thud. From the darkness of the trees come a giant beast. And then suddenly, as the boys turn away to run, a second beast appears. They hear the old man laughing maniacally as they try to run away. Will they make it out using teamwork and their adolescent creativity? Will the Boy Scouts survive? No. No, they don't. The entire Boy Scout group gets mauled. 42 of them eaten.
I'm not
and
even
they-
seeing this movie.
And they
now
all
you
die
filled me out
gruesome
in.
deaths.
Yeah, sounds like a great movie.
Yeah.
I like that
Really
you
great.
made them Boy Scouts, honestly.
I love that all they had to do was call him bald. Like that's
Dude,
all they had
of
to say.
course that's
Like
all- if you were a male prophet,
I've dated
of
a
the
lot of bald
Lord,
men, and they are
Listen,
they are
fucking pussies. And if you dare call a bald man, like, listen, men are allowed to call a fat woman fat, and we're just supposed to be like, you got me. But
right.
if a woman calls a bald man bald, they're like, you fucking cunt, you fucking bitch. And I'm like, but bro, you're literally bald. I don't know what you want me to
Can
say.
I tell
to
you guys what the title of my...
Oh
Is
yeah,
it
my
you
movie
fucking
would
cunt,
be?
you fucking bitch?
No, it's not
Oh.
that.
No,
Um,
she said
No,
no. I'm
that
from St.
was real
Olaf,
rose right
Minnesota.
there.
Okay. Smooth head criminal.
Oh gosh. Of
Yeah.
Smooth
Um,
head criminal.
course it is. Of course it
Um,
is.
So if you haven't checked out the Heretics Instagram, the one that I did on there,
We have an Instagram.
no, I meant TikTok.
This
is very large.
Very
Very large cup of tequila. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've gotten progressively
progressive.
thicker.
It looks like you might be having an allergic reaction. I don't know.
Nope, it's just because I'm Norwegian drinking alcohol.
Okay.
But the TikTok, the story of Adam and Eve, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was fucking proud of that.
It was good.
I was A-okay. And then I was like, what story could I do? And this is where those roots still like, they're still there sometimes. Cause like I should do the fucking virgin birth. Come on, man. A woman is impregnated by a poltergeist. She gives birth to a child who has magic powers, who believes himself to be the savior of the world. Like that shit would be scary as fuck. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that's half the plot.
It's like the Omen
to an
movies.
American
It
Horror
is
Story.
Damien. Damien and Jesus, one and the same.
Rosemary's Baby. All movies I've never seen.
You never seen Rosemary's Baby or The Omen?
No.
I just realized Rosemary's Baby. Mary's Baby. Did
I
they do that
don't
on
think that,
purpose?
but okay. All right, so
Mary.
mine's much shorter than you guys. Ready?
All right.
Oh no, I'm gonna do it in my movie voice, but it makes me feel very self-conscious.
Don't be
I had to do
self-conscious.
it.
What's your point, Rachel? All right. This is the story of a young boy searching for meaning, looking for answers, calling out for God. But is the voice that answers him God or something else? And then insert dramatic music. That's literally all I've got.
That's the whole thing?
Yeah.
And we're supposed to figure out who it is?
Is the boy the voice?
Guys, when I say what it is, you're gonna be like,
could be-
oh yeah.
It could be like any of the men in the Bible. Okay,
Paul.
read it for us one more time.
Paul.
If it's Paul,
Okay.
if you do anything about Paul, I'm kicking you
Yes.
off this podcast.
Somebody got it.
Oh, Samuel.
See?
All right.
That was one of those. See, I was going for it's going to be hard to guess because I was like, see, but it was also very obvious.
Yes, but I mean, it could be for more than just him. But I get it. It wasn't Paul. That's all that matters.
Why would I do Paul? Yeah,
He is
creepy
banned from this podcast.
Samuel. I should have had Aaron in the background ready to just pop up and be like, Samuel.
I almost did King Herod being eaten by worms just because, like, that sounds like a horror movie where, like, the guy in front of a whole crowd doesn't say what he's supposed to say and just gets eaten literally by worms right there. That's
I feel like the fiery furnace could have been very, like, Saw-esque, where it's like 3 men trapped in a fire room.
Yeah.
Daniel and the Lions Den. Of course, that has a good ending.
Yeah.
I wanted to do the one with David and the 200 foreskins.
The 200 foreskins.
I wanted to call it Before Skin.
Oh my gosh.
I really felt like they could have made a like stalker movie out of the story of David and Saul when he like cuts the robe off of him when he's in the I feel like that could have been a really tense stalker movie.
Or Bathsheba.
I know, but
that's a little too dark. Yeah. Initially this morning I was thinking like, can I just like kind of make creepy the story of Rachel and Leah? Because it's not a creepy story, but it could very easily become one. Like you could make that a creepy story because of course, like, you know, godly men in the Bible, the fathers of our faith, are the worst and they just do great things to people.
Or wait for it. Do the story of like Babe, Pig in the City. But he just happens to be one of the swine that Jesus sends the demons into. Like that is a horror film for those pigs who are just minding their own business, chilling on the ledge.
About Rachel and Leah, have you ever read The Red Tent?
Yes.
Yes, I have read The Red Tent.
I like that book.
You know.
Yeah, I see it.
The Bible would love to have a red tent that I could go away for a week when I'm on my period and just
Wouldn't it be just so great?
We should bring that back.
We should bring that back. Hey, listen, if the Christian nationalists have their way and we like
you guys, the Red Tent Society is a thing.
I know.
And it's not really so much people on their periods as much as it's a little bit appropriating, like moon goddess. I'm going to steal a little bit of pieces from multiple Eastern religions we're going to call it, you know, New Age spirituality. It got co-opted a little bit, but I think the concept, if you are not familiar with The Red Tent is a book that was written by Anita. Anybody remember her last name?
Nope.
I can't remember.
Don't recall.
Anita something. The book is next to me somewhere. Anyway, it is the telling of the story of Rachel and is it Rachel? No, it's Leah. It's Leah and Jacob's daughter, Dinah.
Anita Diamond.
Anita Diamond. And Dinah gets like maybe half a paragraph in the Bible, and it's real aggressive and real misogynistic. And so she comes and she extrapolates out, what if this story isn't how it was told to us? And I love books like that.
Yeah, I think it's a good book too. Someone wrote, and how all these early 2000s Christian romance, end quote, novels of stories of the women of the Bible made them fall in love with their rapist.
I'm still deeply scarred by Redeeming Love. Talk about a horror
Francine
movie.
Rivers, what is wrong with you?
I remember liking that book when I read it.
Yeah, I did too.
Now I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know much. What did I know about love?
My mother gave me that book to read when I was 12.
Oh, no, I was older, 18 or 19 probably when I read it. Yeah, and I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was beautiful.
Stomped out of my room and slammed it down on the kitchen table. And I went, this is Christian porn.
Oh, really? I thought it was
about but are you talking about Red Tent?
I feel like she's talking about Redeeming Love because she just typed
then
it.
She just said Anita Diamond. So I think she's talking about.
Oh, sorry.
Well, if you haven't read the book, you should. But also, I don't often say this. This is a sentence that is a rarity for me. But Lifetime made an incredible adaptation of that film. That around the time of the success, didn't they make like a movie about the Bible, and it was wildly successful and people were really into it? It was like a 2-part miniseries. I don't know.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
So
It
based
was
off
good.
that, based off that, they were like, what other things can we do? So they optioned the red tent. Oh, she was talking about redeeming love. Hope.
Yeah.
But it's a movie and it's wonderful and you should all watch it.
Wasn't Redeeming Love a worship song too?
Yes.
No, am I making it up?
No, that's Amazing Love.
Oh, Amazing Love. How
Amazing
can
love.
it be?
You
You
my
guys,
king
can
who
we end
died
this
for
by
me.
bringing it back to our costumes for a second to say
Mm.
that I realized that, I mean, Abby was just wearing obviously her own hair, but April, you're never gonna have a blonde wig like that. Like that's not what you're gonna look like. But this is probably exactly what I'm gonna look like eventually one day.
Do you think you'll cut your hair short? I've thought about this a lot in my life.
Don't
And
all
I
old ladies do that though?
know. I'm going to be
You don't have
fucking
to.
Frankie Bergstein till I die.
Frankie Bergstein till my hair is always long. I love long hair. You guys should see the wig. I'm not going to show it, but the wig
I'm
cap I have under this
feeling
is
very
rough.
like old.
You're
I put
feeling
like
old?
all of these marks all over my face, and y'all's faces for the most part still look normal.
Can I say something that makes me sound like a douche?
Please.
I tried really hard to like in theater, they teach you to just follow the natural lines of your face
Mhm.
when you're doing old age makeup. And I can't get any forehead wrinkles
Shut up.
to
Listen,
follow.
I get,
No,
listen,
go
I get
away.
Botox, so I have to work at it a little bit
All I
too.
could get were these nose bridge wrinkles. And I was like, I guess I'll do
I
those.
had
You
crow's
know, you
feet.
could just make some up if you couldn't find them.
I did. See?
Hardly noticeable. Look how long mine are.
up because
I put them on my around my lips.
I did too. I'm just fatter than you, so it looks like it's my normal face.
Oh my gosh.
Look.
It does, I can't see it through the lighting, but I believe you.
Well, before we go, are you all taking the kids trick or treating tomorrow? What are your kids dressing up as? What are your plans for Halloween?
Yes. Apparently, though, my neighbor came up and told me that to beware of Skittles, that the drug dealers have figured out how to open a package of Skittles, put drugs into the Skittles, and reseal it.
I
And
just
I-
can't think of
Every
any drug dealer that would waste the product.
like they just want to give it away. I know every drug
know.
dealer I know wants to not make any money.
Every drug dealer I know, which is a lot, obviously, was
actually
like,
know a
you know
couple.
what I'm going to do on Halloween? Give all away my drugs for
to
free.
random kids who will never be able to buy it again because they're children.
I don't feel like making money in my highly lucrative and dangerous job.
I know. That's literally what I told her. She was like,
Hope,
someone
I'm not
told her.
leaving you. I'm so happy for you. Sorry.
What?
What?
Hope just now rented the red tent from
yes.
her library as an audiobook. And I'm
Yes.
congratulating her because it's really good.
Awesome. Yes. No, my neighbor came up and said someone told her that drug dealers were putting drugs in the Skittles because they figured out a way to do it. And so
April,
then
what are your kids being?
they're being fairies. They bought little fairy wings
Very
and
cute.
they really wanted fairy wings. So that's what they're going as. And I want to go as something because I always try to do something.
I think you're wearing it.
One day I'd like to be cute for Halloween.
That wig could very easily go Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah,
if
be
you had the
Marilyn
right
Monroe.
outfit.
I don't know if I have
Socks, baby, socks.
socks. She
A
wears
nice
socks.
push-up bra and some socks.
We're saying because you're gonna need something.
Because my boobs are
Boobies.
small.
That might be what she was trying to say, but
I missed it. But now everybody knows that April's got small boobs. So
Hey, that's okay.
fun.
Listen, the reason I struggle to pull off Blanche is because she wears a lot of long necklaces and she has no boobs, so they just hang. But on me, they just all come into the middle, and it looks like I'm wearing a rosary.
you know, one of my favorite
Should burn
Golden Girls
that Courtney
quotes
Briglock.
ever that made me think of it. One of my favorite Golden Girls quotes, which most of the time are actually Sophia, is Blanche is trying to make somebody jealous, and she's like, "I'm gonna go lay in my bathtub with the water just barely covering my bosoms." And Sophia's like, "You're gonna sit in an inch of water?" That's like my favorite line.
When I was trying to find a costume idea for Blanche, I was like, this bitch wears nothing but low cut shit with no boobs. I can't, I have, this is not
Lots
gonna
of
work
like
for me.
lingerie as like
Oh, yeah.
under, yeah.
Or a
she
lot of
loves-
popped collars.
Yeah, she loved her pop collars
Hot
too.
collars.
Oh well, April's falling asleep right now. I think it's time to wrap it up.
That's
What
the
are
yacht.
your kids being, Abby?
My kids both have to be painted green for their costumes. And we have had multiple Halloween things over the past week, and they've wanted to wear their costumes. And I've said no, because I've said, we are painting you green once. That's it. You get one shot at the green.
Yeah.
So Gabe is going to be a comic book character called Beast Boy, and I had to make his costume. I've spent the last several hours painstakingly creating a duct tape and cardboard utility belt.
She was handling it really well too.
Wow.
No, I was not. By the third utility box, I was like, this is fucking stupid. Should have paid the $30. And Lula is going to be Elphaba from Wicked.
Hey.
And I shit you not, nobody knows who that is. I really thought people would, but all month people have been like, what are you going to be for Halloween? She's like, I'm going to be Elphaba. And they're like, what's that?
I don't understand those people, like where they are. Yeah.
So she's upset because she thinks people are just going to think that she's a witch, which granted, Elphaba is a witch, but it's a specific
But
witch.
a specific witch. Yeah. This is my second time dressing up. I'm done. I'm just passing out candy tomorrow, but I do have to go get candy tomorrow.
Good luck.
And where I live now, I can just pass out regular candy. The house I was at before this
As
was
opposed to Skittles drugs.
No, listen, the house I lived in for 5 years before I bought this house, full-size candy bar was pretty much a requirement in the neighborhood. Some houses gave away king size. One time I handed this kid a 2-pack of Reese cups, full size, and he was like, that house gave us a 4-pack. And I'm like, well, this house is poor. And you don't know how much money I just spent on you dumb kids. So I'm going to be over here with my fun size Snicker bars for these kids tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I gotta go
You know
get
what? As the parent, thank you. Truly. Because
I don't want my kids to have that much candy.
One full-size candy bar is like, oh, look what I got. This is awesome. A fucking bag. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's too much. We still have some Halloween candy left over from last year.
You guys,
probably
I
need to throw it
definitely
away.
brought leftover Easter candy to one of my kids' Halloween's thing this week. I was like, I don't know. I'm not buying new candy. We have this whole bag of Easter candy.
Yeah, do it. I'm excited. I love passing.
Why does it have X on it? And I was like,
stop asking questions.
Just take it. Take 2.
All right, she's yawning again. We're losing April.
I've got to wake up at the crack of dawn to take my
I want to
kids
take this
school.
off because I'm dying.
Take mine off.
Oh, I'll do it too, but I have a wig cap on.
So do I. Mine just rolled off.
Looks so beautiful. All right. Well, this has been super fun.
April now looks like a missionary, like sister missionary.
She totally does.
Can I tell you about my Lord and Savior?
To the front of the auditorium. It's time for the special music.
I could be a Jehovah's Witness. Go knock on some doors. There's a bunch in this area. We get handwritten letters from our local Jehovah's
we get
Witness.
handwritten letters
We
too.
get typed letters.
Ooh, they don't care as much.
They don't love you.
Well, like electric typewriter typed, not printed off on a computer.
Yeah. We're unraveling. It's time to go.
Yes.
Happy Halloween to all of our friends.
Halloween.
We hope that you do whatever you're comfortable doing with Halloween. But if you still feel tied to not watching things like Hocus Pocus because of the devil,
this is not the right podcast for
this is not
honestly, Jamie Gooch probably thinks demons came through the screen from watching this.
Oh yeah. Oh, she would be the only person.
Demon.
If a demon came through your screen from watching this, could you please tell them to come home?
We're trying to keep them here. We're stingy with those bitches. They're ours. Thank you. All right. Love you guys. We'll see you. Oh, P.S. If you're hearing this, you're going to be hearing both podcasts because I figured out today that I never uploaded September to our podcast. So,
did you notice that because of the comment someone left on the video?
Well, because that's apparently when I knew but forgot after they even said that. So then today when I was opening the StreamYard to download, I'm like, how did I not have this downloaded? Oh my gosh, I never posted it. So I'll be posting both months tomorrow, and you guys can just listen to the three of us talk for 3 solid hours if you want to.
Beautiful.
But we're entertaining, so it's fine.
We are entertaining, and we only said cunt twice today. So you're welcome.
I said it 0 times.
So that's actually 3 times now. All right, love you guys. See you next.
Bye.
Bye.